What up, what up? Say so G. Back on the video. So the title of this video is gonna be, I will never pay my mortgage off. So admin notes, thanks again to all the subscribe to the channel. I endeavor to keep pushing your video out. Give you leverage, you better yourselves. So let's get into it. So why do I say I will never pay my mortgage off? Now, as a disclaimer to this video, this is not me saying that I don't have the funding or the financial security to pay my mortgage off, because I can't pay it off right now, right? Because it's a pretty big mortgage right now. Well, actually it might not be as big as some of these other homes that are around here, because I actually refinanced back in 2021 at a 2.3% interest rate. So that's like one of the best rates you could have got during that time. And this is 2025 right now, and mortgage rates normally around about 6%, sometimes even 7%. So big difference, right? But these are some of the reasons why I will never pay my mortgage off. And I'm gonna start by saying one of the main reasons is that I don't want to pay my mortgage off. Here's the reason why. So I live in the subdivision, right? And the subdivision has an HOA, right, which stands for Homeowners Association, right? So I have to pay a fee every month for certain maintenance of the neighborhood, whether it be cutting grass, removing snow when it snows, the trash, because I live in a county. I live in the country, right? But the subdivisions, most of the subdivisions around here, they have a contract with a personal, I guess, trash removal business, and they come by and remove our trash for us. If it was not for that, we would have to pretty much buy our own trash cans and go to the local landfill and dump our own trash, right? So the HOA pays for that. The HOA pays for just normal maintenance of the grounds of the subdivision. I live on a hill. So at one point, a couple years ago, some of the homes at the very top of the hill were being compromised. There was some erosion problems, and the HOA had to take out a loan to pay the erosion problem back, to fix the erosion problem. But the problem was that it upped our HOA fee over $100 a month after they did that, right? So we're eating the costs to fix about 5 homes that were in danger of actually literally falling apart, right? So so that's one reason why I would never pay my mortgage off, because I don't want to pay my mortgage off and then start to pay an HOA fee. Like, that's crazy to me, right? Another reason is that I don't see any benefit for me to pay my mortgage off when I live in a subdivision, because once I pay my mortgage off, in theory, the city still owns the property, right? Because if I don't pay my taxes, right, even though I pay my mortgage off, if I don't pay the taxes, after a certain time, the city can still take my house away, right? From a legal standpoint. There may be a situation years from now, even after I pass away, where I may give my home, or I will give my home away to my descendants, my kids, right? If I pay the mortgage off, and then they have a decision whether they keep the house or they sell it. Let's say they keep the house, and for whatever reason, the city says this subdivision is in the way of some new construction. Now, normally they would pay these folks, they would pay my descendants off to to get rid of the house, for them to to bulldoze down and make whatever. But what if they haven't invested? They have some investments in the house, right? Maybe they're using the house as an Airbnb, or they're renting the house out, right? So that's income that they lost, even though the city paid them off to get rid of the house. That's still income that that they don't have anymore, because they can't use it as rental property anymore. So there's a slew of reasons why I will never pay my mortgage off. Or at least I don't want to pay it off, right? The only scenario that I would pay a mortgage off is if I buy the land and I build the house from the ground up, right? This is what folks have to really understand when it comes to this. The land that the house sits on is more valuable than the house itself. I'll say that again. The land that the house sits on is worth more than the house itself. Because if I'm going to pay for a house, if I'm going to pay for a mortgage that I take out on a house, I want it on land that I own, right? So I don't have to be concerned about the city coming in to tell me that I needed to, to get rid of my home. Now, there are some scenarios for some folks that's happened to, but if you own the land, it's gonna be extremely hard for the city to do that versus you living in a subdivision and you don't own the land. See how that works? I have neighbors right now that if they pay their mortgage off, the subdivision still has ownership to a certain degree of that home. So even though I don't have a mortgage anymore, there's still certain things that can happen where I could lose my home, even though I paid the mortgage off and I have the title, right? I have the deed to the house. But like I said, if I don't pay my taxes, the city can take the house. If something happens and the HOA says I need to do some modifications to my house, right? I have to abide by that, or I can be put out my own house. So it's crazy. Like I said, the only reason why I would pay a house off is if I built the house from the ground up and I owned the land. I bought the land. I want a situation where I buy the land and my descendants and my family currently, as I'm living, can build on that property and build homes. There's a reason why a lot of multimillionaires right now are buying land in the United States right now. Bill Gates bought a slew of farms. I'm not exactly sure what the number is, but he bought an enormous amount of land, of farmland. You don't think he did it on purpose? You don't think there's some agendas going on here? When these people that have a whole bunch of money to do things, y'all need to watch what they do, man. Y'all need to watch what they do, because there's a reason why he bought farmland. Kanye West, he said this a couple years ago. He said that America is for sale, and he's bought a whole bunch of land, to build whatever on, right? The land is more valuable than the house. I promise you it is. And even though there's a property line around your home when you live in a subdivision, at the end of the day, if you buy that home, if you pay the mortgage off, and there's a property line that's around your home, the HOA to a certain degree still can manipulate, and they still own and can still tell you what to do on your property. That's real. Any homeowner right now will tell you that the HOA has a lot of say-so when it comes to modifications and what you can do to your own home. So I'm sitting here like, if I pay my mortgage off, the HOA still can tell me when I can have company to a certain degree. It all depends on what's going on, right? They get, there's noise ordinance. So basically, if I have a party, the HOA can come by and fine me, right? If I make too much noise. There was a situation with my HOA a couple months ago where they said that your trash can couldn't stay on the street over 24 hours. And if they did, they will fine you. If you put your trash can at the side of the house, but you can drive by and see the trash can at the side of the house, they could fine you. The trash can literally had to be out of sight, out of mind. Either it had to be at the back of the house or inside your garage or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And the more I thought about this, I'm like, you know what? Ain't no way I'm gonna pay this house off. Why? Folks can still tell me what the hell I can do in my house. It doesn't make any sense. Now, if I buy the land, right, and I build my house from the ground up, who's gonna come on my own land and tell me what to do in my own house? Tell me if it makes sense or not. I think it makes sense, you know what I'm saying? So anyways, I'm not gonna belabor the topic. It's gonna be a short video, but that's the reason why I will never pay my house off. It doesn't make any sense, you know what I'm saying? If I live in a subdivision and the HOA has control, and I want to make modifications to my house, I can't. Doesn't make any sense, right? So anyway, drop some comment section below. Know what y'all think. You want me to discuss topic or subject that benefits your channel? Email me at asog757@gmail.com. My email address says below. Say so G, signing out. I'm gone.